The idea of making a sequel to The Shining seems baffling. It's one of the greatest movies of all time. Kubrick took great liberties to make it his own instead of trying to make a close adaptation of Stephen King's novel. He created such a great work of art that the idea of someone trying to follow it up years later seems ludicrous. However, since Stephen King made a sequel to it years ago, it was only a matter of time before someone tried to adapt it. So does the film reach the heights of The Shining, or does it put us all to sleep? So Dr. Sleep takes place during the present day. Danny Torrance is the protagonist, having grown up and found his place in life. He uses his shining to help people who are at the end of their lives pass on peacefully. Danny also develops a connection and friendship with this young girl, Abra, who has the shining as well, but it's way more powerful than his. One day, Abra is using her shining when she witnesses a cult full of shining users to drain a young boy's soul to lengthen their lives. The cult notices Abra and tries to track her down, so Abra, with nowhere else to turn, tracks down Danny and enlists his help in defeating this evil cult. So I kept an open mind when watching this film. The Shining is a great movie and one of my favorites. In my opinion, I really enjoyed this film. Sure, it doesn't quite reach the crazy and unique surreal elements that the prequel had, but in spite of that, the film for the most part does its own thing. Although the end of the film does bring back some familiar elements, I feel that it earned the right to do that. Ewan McGregor also does a great job portraying the older Danny. We see how his life has turned since leaving the hotel at the end of The Shining, and what has become of his mom. Kaylee Curran plays Abra, the new character. She's a great contrast to Danny, who's much more innocent and has a great childhood compared to Danny. Finally, the character Rose the Hat, played by Rebecca Ferguson, is a great villain. She's just this evil woman who does all these horrible things to kids that you just can't wait to see how she's going to get her comeuppance. So I recommend going to see Dr. Sleep. It's not quite The Shining, but I think it tells an interesting story about what happens to someone after they've escaped from hell and are now trying to live their lives but can't escape the past.